Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. I feel like I'm running out of the tunnel in the Texans game right now.
Am I on a four-wheeler?
Yeah, you are.
I am.
I'm running behind you, like trying to chase you down.
Right, because I stole it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And we're in super trouble.
Oh. Probably not even the worst trouble we've been in, though.
No, not at all.
No.
You're listening to us on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Sister stations.
And worldwide at
irlonestar.com.
We are right in the middle of our weekly top 3, where we are listing influential people in our childhood. Nico's was the Iron Giant and Brendan Fraser.
Yep.
Like, that says so much about him. Like, so many questions have just been answered.
But it fits perfectly.
It really does. It does.
And DLG ended up with a duo at his number 3.
That's right. Leanne Rimes and Charlotte Church.
Mine was Tupac Shakur. And so now
we're all over the place with this thing.
Corey, let's get into your number 2.
All right. So again, it's another pair, and it's actually, you know what? We really I could have tied this in with yours, talking about Tupac. So in middle school, same thing. Very first CD I ever owned is Alanis Morissette. And that and Elvis from my grandfather at the same time really kind of introduced music to me and kind of changed my realizations about music. Because up until that point, you're right. Like growing up, it's all country music, gospel,
right,
opera, obviously. Like it's all the classical stuff because that's what our families were big on that stuff back growing up. Garth Brooks for a long time was the only artist I knew by name. I mean, but so Alanis Morissette, that Jagged Little Pill album, which wound up selling like a bajillion copies. It was very raw to me lyrically because at that time that's so much different than country music.
Right.
What she's talking about in those songs, they don't talk about in country music.
No, not at all.
And then Elvis, because the music was fun to listen to at that age, and then the older I get and the more I learn, the more I realize how much he changed music with those same songs. Like those songs when they played them initially were a big deal.
Right.
And so like it's really that's kind of where I start musically. That's my foundation, and it goes everywhere from there. Everywhere, rap and everything else. But at the beginning, that's where it starts for me. Alanis Morissette and Elvis Presley.
Alanis Morissette and Elvis Presley. That's not bad.
No, I mean, it was...
Elvis was a big deal.
He was.
Like, people kind of like hack on him. Not hack on him, but you see all the impersonators in Vegas and stuff, and it's almost kind of what he's turned into at this age. But that dude changed everything.
Changed all of it.
He flipped the script on everybody.
Changed all of it. The first, like, real American superstar.
Right.
I mean, you look at the Graceland compound, the fact that he had his own jet. Mm-hmm. He had like a waterfall in a room where he would hang out and write music.
Right.
Like inside his house.
That's crazy.
Like how baller is that? Because that's before like cribs. Yeah. That's before like giant king size beds. Like
mind blown, man.
Like
mind blown.
It's weird to think of all the things he did before anyone else.
Right. No, that's true.
The marketing, the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, just
he started it, man.
He did. And so yeah, and the older we get and the more we learn about history and what music sounded like right before him and right after him, I mean, it's night and day. Night and day.
He changed the game.
And people who came on TV and danced.
Right.
Remember, okay, do this. Think about this. When Elvis Presley came on TV in 1950, they weren't going to air him from the waist down because it was obscene. Mm-hmm. Now, fast forward... It was just like the Grand Ole Opry was all they put on TV back then, I think. Fast forward 60 years, and Miley Cyrus dry humps Robin Thicke on stage at the MTV Music Awards.
Yeah.
Like, what he... Just by being Elvis, changed things.
Changed the game up.
Because everyone was like, well, you have to show the lower half of Elvis because he's such a great dancer.
Right.
And it drives the ladies crazy. So that's number 2.
My number 2, and this is just because it was my sports hero growing up.
Oh, okay.
The quarterback of the Houston Oilers, the Warren Moon. I don't know what it was about this guy, man, but as a kid, I loved Warren Moon. He was just so different, like as a running quarterback and a black quarterback on top of that, and not your typical let's just stay in the pocket white guy.
No, he definitely played a different version, the run and shoot.
The run and shoot, it was just awesome, and.
I'm really embarrassed to say this, but at the time, I vividly remember loving Chris Chandler more. The backup quarterback. I just vividly remember, like, when I would play the Tecmo game, I would take Warren Moon out and put in Chris Chandler.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why now. Like, now as an adult, I'm like, obviously that's stupid. A mobile quarterback is way better.
Way better.
But at the time, I just remember being like, Chris Chandler is far superior to Warren. He wound up having a good career of his own. I think he started for the Falcons for many years, but it sticks in my head that, like, for some reason when I was young, Chris Chandler was my option over
Warren Moon, man. I love me some Warren Moon. Nico, what's your number one?
My number one is, oh God, I forget his name because I never really remembered his name. I just know his band, Cake.
Oh.
John McCrea? I don't know. It's 2 C's there.
Yeah.
McCrea. I don't know. It was just a band that I discovered kind of when I was younger, and I just really liked their sound because they're so different because I listened to the radio my entire life, and they were just so far out there. It was just so interesting to me, and I was like, you can do so much more.
Right. You know what's funny, though, growing up? So Cake did have its day on the radio. It's just way before your time.
Right.
They also were played perpetually alongside another band called Beck.
Yeah.
And forever in my head, I don't know the difference between the two of them. To me, they are both the same.
That's funny.
Like, is this Cake or Beck? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I
matter.
like,
It
I
doesn't
like
matter.
Beck. I like Beck a lot.
And, like, Beck has had the longer career.
Yeah.
But even still, when Beck songs come on, even if it's a new Beck song, I'm still like, Cake? Beck. Okay.
Beck.
Okay. All right.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a funny difference in experience there.
It is. Like, you're like, these guys are crazy good. And I'm like, these guys sound exactly like this other band.
They sound exactly the same.
And it's funny because Beck still is around.
Yeah, they are.
And I don't know if Cake even.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't.
I don't actually know.
Do you know what was? I can't do it. Well, we don't have time. Off the air, I got a story to tell you though.
All right, cool.
All right, Corey, what's your number one?
Okay, so my number one. This was sort of when I discovered my talent,
Okay.
and people were just like, "You're always really funny. You're hilarious, Corey." But it's when you're not trying to be.
Right. Okay.
So okay, all right. And so the people that I then kind of latched on to celebrity wise, Adam Sandler and Robin Williams. And like as I sort of more and more developed my own personality, those two were always kind of like the opposite sides of the goalpost. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be between
those two guys.
those two guys.
You want to be between those two.
I want to
guys.
get between those two guys. Adam Sandler and Robin. That would be a rather wealthy sandwich.
It would be.
Although now it would be a weird one because Robin Williams is dead.
Yeah, that'd be a weird one. Obviously.
But yeah, so they were Robin Williams obviously just to me will always be the funniest person who's probably ever even been on the planet.
He was hilarious.
I don't think there's ever been a funnier person. And to me, the interesting thing about him is that comedically he did it all. Like his career, him and Richard Pryor have similar careers where they start off as stand-up comedians who then become icons. But Robin Williams more so than Richard Pryor because Richard Pryor had such a hard, fast fall.
Right.
Robin Williams for like 30 years. I mean, when you go back and you realize he started out as a stand-up comic in the 70s doing hour-and-a-half long improv sets, medicated though, but hour-and-a-half long improv sets, turned that into a show called Mork and Mindy. And then from there, this crazy movie career, right?
Yeah.
Oscar nominations. One of my favorite books, The World According to Garp, which is almost like it's an impossible movie to make because it's so boring, but it's a great book. He's in it. He's Garp.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he just Patch Adams. I mean, like he could do anything.
Miss Doubtfire.
Miss Doubtfire. God, how is that like one of the most important movies, right? Ever?
Right.
Not really. But like,
Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh man, like there was just so many. He's just so iconic. And then Disney's Aladdin.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then like Bicentennial Man. Like
And now Will Smith's gonna be Aladdin.
I know the genie.
The genie.
Yeah. So
That's Robin Williams. Robin Williams, the genie.
Yeah. And so like to me, I don't like both of them. Adam Sandler too. He starts out as a Saturday Night Live sketch person, and then, I mean, he literally did tours, doing his own music, his own albums. He had his own albums. He did
Comedy albums.
He jumped
Comedy
on the
singing albums.
Right. He jumped on the Jersey Boys kind of thing, and then his movies. He had his own production company with Lorne Michaels of Saturday Night Live, and he made all these movies and has made himself into just a bajillionaire.
Now he's not doing so hot in his movies.
Well, he sold them to Netflix. He doesn't have to do hot.
Yeah.
He sold.
That's true.
He did like a 3-picture deal for like $600 million with those guys.
Nailed it.
What does he care now?
Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't care how these do.
Yeah, these don't have to do good at
I just have to make them.
right. 'Cause this is the one part where Netflix screws up its model.
I just have to make them.
Right. And don't get me wrong, it's Adam Sandler, so like you're betting big because it's going to be good if it's good. But yeah, and then Like it
They
almost
just have to exist.
right. It almost doesn't matter what he turns in. Like
Right.
I
yeah.
say for everything up front, this was a mistake.
right. So that's my number one. Those two combined.
My number one is my all-time favorite person growing up ever.
Is this? I think I know who this is.
Who do you think it is?
I think it's Hulk Hogan.
It is, of course. It's Hulk
Yes.
Hogan. Hulk Hogan is the greatest thing to me as a kid. And then whenever he was always the good guy. Eat your vitamins.
He was the All-American hero.
All-American hero. Blah blah blah. And then as I get older and I start transitioning, I become a different person.
And you start thinking that's lame.
Right. And then he flips the script.
Right.
And becomes like Hollywood Hogan, where he's the now anti-hero.
And he's even cooler
And
to you.
yeah, he is.
You're like, this guy could be my dad.
He could be. He might be. Mom?
That would be so
Wouldn't that be
cool.
insane? It's not true. But
So I have a funny story here that I think will make this
Sure, we got a
a
minute.
better wrap up.
Go
here.
ahead.
I had a buddy of mine, anyway, he had a buddy of mine, and he didn't know that his dad was good friends with Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Because they convinced him when he was a kid that it wasn't Hulk Hogan, but a guy named Terry. And that's Hulk Hogan's real name.
Yeah, Terry
so they
Bollier.
Right, and so they would tell him like, no, this is my buddy Terry. I grew up with him. He's actually even short. Hulk Hogan's like a foot taller than him.
Right.
So like they convinced my buddy, like, and I went to school with this kid from kindergarten through, and so like, he would tell us, he's like, yeah, my dad's friend looks just like Hulk Hogan. It is so neat, and he can even do a really good impression of him. And I'm like, well, is he Hulk Hogan? No, his name's Terry, and he's like a foot shorter than Hulk. He didn't know. He didn't know forever that it was the Hulk.
man, I would like to have been there when he found out.
Right,
Right.
right. I never had that conversation with him about how he found out. But like, as I got older and I found out Hulk Hogan had a real name, and then I found out it was Terry,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god,
That's Hulk Hogan!
right?
You found out before he did.
Maybe.
All right, let's jump out to a break with that. When we come back, we're going to get into the Nico segment. Stay with us.